What's going on, guys? Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're having a good week. As always, I want to talk about a few stories today. First, we'll talk about the breaking news. Breaking news. Unlike on television, they're like, breaking news, buy these pills in the commercials. No, I'm just kidding. But President Trump was acquitted on the first article of impeachment. To those of you who don't understand it, don't worry. Most people don't. There's going to be a second article, and if that doesn't work, then they'll probably just make up a whole nother scandal, and we'll talk about this for 10 years. And meanwhile, we could be paving roads or doing something. We'll talk about this forever. But yeah, President Trump got acquitted, but what I wanted to talk about even before that was Mitt Romney. You know, he flippity flopper, but that's kind of who he is. I already knew a lot of conservatives were like, no way, our dear, near and dear Mitt Romney swung on us. It's like, he was never the real deal. I mean, he was always the two-party, do whatever they said to do. Like, oh, you do it or Obama does it. He was even behind Obamacare. Look into Romney Care, Obamacare. I mean, this dude's been a phony. I don't know why Trump even, endorsed him. That was a mistake in hindsight. And then we're going to talk about the Iowa caucus. Because like most things that the Democratic Party does, it's done in the shadows, it doesn't work properly, and they're absolutely going to blame you for it. So I've been watching a lot of YouTubers, and there's a lot of good points being made. You couldn't script how corrupt these guys are. The app, it was called Shadow. It was, I guess, funded or created by some sort of probably like NBO, an organization. I don't know. They always have some name. They're like, we're a bipartisan organization for the truth. I don't know. Shadow. No one told them, like, hey guys, maybe if we're gonna make an app that's created by political operatives that's being funded by multiple campaigns in the election, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't name it Shadow, like we're some sort of villainous group, but they don't think that far ahead. Or they do and they just throw it in our face. You bring that to a movie script, say, hey, this is my script, and they'll be like, that's not a good name, it's too corny. You know what I'm saying? It's too obvious, like, oh, Shadow. Even like a child's cartoon would not even be. Anyway, so we're going to talk about that. The Iowa caucus, the State of the Union last night, Mitt Romney, and then President Trump acquitted. Leah said not guilty. Yeah, now they're going to drag it out for another 5,000 years. It's like 10,000 years later. President Trump donated to Chile. It's like, just leave us alone, guys. We'll do some shout outs and then we'll get into it. Who we got? We got Wells, we got KP in the house, we got Patty, Big Game Patty. I'll give everybody nicknames today. We got Alma, always here Alma. We got Marky Mark. We got Loretta. We got light on her feet Loretta. We got Ring the Bell. We got Big Girl Brandy. All right, that's enough nicknames. Everybody's gonna get mad at me. First things first, Trump got acquitted 52-48, and I think the split in the Senate is 53-47. So that means one Republican flipped, and it was Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney's been like, a lot of people are understanding now. Like, a lot of people voted for Trump. They were two-time Obama voters. They were Bernie supporters. Some people just want to see this system get shattered. They know it's fake. Al Gore versus George Bush. Let's do a revote, but let's only revote in Florida where Jeb Bush, worked. It's like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Let's just revote in one state. That's some Democratic Shadow Inc. Logic there. People wanted Trump because he was different from the Romneys and the McCains, which makes me scratch my head. One, why President Trump endorsed him, and two, why so many conservatives are acting so surprised today. Like, dude, I can't even log into Twitter. People are like, are you serious? Mitt Romney did that? I can't believe he did that. I never thought he would stoop that low. He's Mitt Romney. There's a reason that Ellen has George Bush on her platform. Hey, George Bush is a painter. Hey, forget the Iraq war, guys. I'm better than Trump. It's like, no, you're not. Even Bernie Sanders lies and says that. All of Bernie Sanders supporters know that George Bush was worse than Donald Trump, but Bernie's like, Donald Trump is the worst president. It's like, Bernie, you're like foaming at the mouth. Like, he's not worse than Bush. Everyone knows that. But anyway, Romney is that guy, so I don't know why people are so confused. And it reminds me of the quote. It's like, shame on you, shame on me. What is it, 3 times? Shame on... You get it. Shame. Everyone should feel shame. No, I'm just kidding. But You know, it's like, what did you expect? Like, of course he was a little operative. They probably purposely put him there where it's like, yo, we're going to try to get this guy out of office. We need some Republicans. He's like, well, I'm up for the job. Let me move to Utah and do it. And then Trump's like, hey, that's my guy. Not for a single day did I ever think Mitt Romney would not do that. I would have been surprised if he voted for Trump. I would have been like, Mitt Romney did the right thing? What? That's crazy. So I'm just like blown away by the surprise. And, you know, I guess that's kind of like the Democratic Party too, where they're like, the Democratic, you can't script how ridiculous this stuff is. But Bolton as well was somebody like that. I always say Michael Bolton, but that's the singer. John Bolton, everybody knew he was bad news. I didn't say anything because I'm not trying to be like I'm not trying to be one of those people like I'm trying to know everything that's going on. I'm like, listen, I don't think that guy's a good guy. He's always trying to start wars. He's a neocon. He's a little operative, but like if President Trump wants to put him in his cabinet, do what you got to do. Just don't start 50 million wars. Trump made fun of him. He joked about him. And that's the thing with Trump's attitude too. Like, you have a guy that you're making fun of. He let John Bolton stay in his little national security cabinet or whatever for like years. And he's making fun of John Bolton as he's in his cabinet. Like, he's like, this guy wants to start a war with Ireland. Like, he's just joking about what a war hawk is, but he still has security clearance. So of course these people are going to turn against you. They were never cool to begin with. They were never good people to begin with. And you're just talking crap about them when they're in your cabinet. And then all the Republicans were like, I can't believe John Bolton is gonna write a book about Trump. He was never a good guy. Wow, that's the part that creeps me out. And this is what I want to say to Trump supporters, Bernie supporters. If we don't drain the swamp is gonna drain us. You know what I'm saying? If you put John Bolton's and Mitt Romney's into place, and Roger Stone, who was a loyal Trump guy, goes down. I'm not saying he's the greatest, like, most pure person ever, but I think he was definitely set up. What's his name? Michael Flynn, who was probably going to do a good job. He got set up. Alex Jones, I'm not saying either, but he actually liked Trump. He gets kicked off of social media under false pretenses. And then you replace that with these other shady snakes who are like, hey, I'm on the Trump team now. We can't let this happen. If we don't drain the swamp is going to drain us. If loyal people keep dropping like flies and getting replaced with neocons and little, state agents, it's going to end up that way. So to the Trump, he's doing a lot. I mean, you saw the State of the Union. We're going to talk about that in a second. He's doing more than I've ever seen done. But if we don't drain the swamp is going to drain us. And that goes to the Bernie side too. To my Bernie supporter people who somehow still put up with my channel and haven't got pissed off at me, thank you. You have the patience of a saint. But also, Bernie is playing this game where he's like, I'm going to do what the Democrat Party tells me to do. Because it's like, dude, they're going to cheat you again, bro. Last time, he absolutely got bamboozled at every single corner by the deep state media, by the Democratic Party, MSNBC. They all, Google, they all were against Bernie Sanders for Hillary Clinton. He gets basically bamboozled, does absolutely nothing for his supporters, campaigns harder for Hillary Clinton than Hillary Clinton campaigned for herself, which is just a massive sin right there. You could talk to the Lord about that one, Bernie. But anyway, then, she loses. Then he says, Donald Trump is the most dangerous president ever. Like, he's like, it's like, dude, you like Bush more than Trump, bro? Just stop playing it yourself. And then he pushes Russiagate. And then he lets him play the Ukraine gate. And this is my message to the Bernie supporters who haven't got pissed off yet. Thank you. You got to drain the swamp or the swamp is going to drain you. It's the same as on the Trump side. If you think that Bernie Sanders is just I'm going to be a Democrat. Ukraine is a threat to the democracy. They're going to step on his face. And then I'm not going to feel bad. I'm going to be like, that's kind of what you deserve. He lied for them. He lied for them. He campaigned for them. He propped them up. In a weird way, Bernie simultaneously, jump-started the revolution by outing Hillary Clinton. He jump-started the revolution by waking up millions of people. And then he's simultaneously stopping the revolution by having all the populist left-wingers who know that the deep state's corrupt. He constantly keeps luring you back to the deep state. So, it's like half of him is like revolutionary, waking everyone up. Half of him is like keeping everyone docile so they don't do anything. My thing is drain the swamp or they're going to drain you. So the Bernie people, when you get cheated again, Shadow Inc. app that's Pete Buttigieg gave $40,000+ to, Joe Biden gave money to, according to some videos I've seen, look into it. I don't want to make that a statement and get sued by Joe Biden or anything, but look at who funded that company. Look at who ran that company. They're all operatives. It's a whole, how could you even have an app that counts votes in Iowa that's created by Hillary operatives, that's being funded by Pete Buttigieg? Why is Pete Buttigieg's campaign giving money to an app that's counting votes? You can't script how corrupt these people are, but Bernie's like, the biggest threat toward democracy ever is Donald Trump. Bernie, shut up, bro. You're getting cheated. We know the biggest threat to your campaign. Donald Trump stands up for you more than you stand up for yourself, and you keep blaming Russia, bro. And all your supporters know it's a total malarkey. Even Jill Stein. Jill Stein is like Malcolm X this week. She's all talking about paperback ballots and how corrupt Biden is. It's hilarious, man. Even Jill, I voted for Jill Stein in 2016. I feel slightly better about that. She's even less phony than Bernie Sanders. My goodness. So, on that note, I want to talk about the State of the Union. And I also want to flip it and piss off my whole following and tell you how we're getting played as well. It's not all the left. It's not all Bernie. It's funny to joke about that, but we got to talk about how we're getting played as well. First of all, State of the Union was phenomenal. Trump's a great speaker. He really has accomplished a lot. I mean, the guy works hard. Normal politicians, even if you hate Trump, normal politicians, they go there with no money. They leave with $100 million. Pharmacy lobbyists, deep state military industrial complex lobbyists, whoever has the money, these people are like political financial prostitutes. It's like one of those things where the money's flying around and you got a minute to catch it in the glass case. That's what's going on here. So it's like these people are not, from Romney's to Obama's. Obama had no money. He had no power. I don't even hate Obama because he probably they're just like, do this, and he's like, sheesh, please don't hurt me. Just give me the money. So politics wasn't moving because you don't have very many people who want to actually do anything. Trump is a go-getter, man. He's like, I want to do this. I want to end this. I want to plant. He's even talking about planting trees. It's like, dude, give Donald Trump some seeds. Put a pot on his head. He'll turn into Johnny Appleseed. He'll plant 1 billion trees. He'll stop climate change and environmental disease before progressives figure out what's going on. So it's like, dude, he really actually is a go-getter. He's the least sold out person. He's not doing backdoor deals. Every politician ever. It's so obvious. So, I mean, I thought his speech was great. I thought his, he's really accomplishing a lot. Two things I want to talk about that go really under the radar, especially for the left. One is the criminal justice reform after the Super Bowl ad. People are onto it. He did what every left-wing activist has been wanting to do for 20 years, which is, reforming the criminal justice system, or more importantly, or to the left, getting people out of jail that have nonviolent offenses. Some people on the right are pissed off, saying those are criminals. Look at what they really did. I'm not going to have that debate now. I'm just saying he's doing what you guys said you were going to do. And he's like, it's like Jared Kushner of all people is like doing it. It's like, and Ivanka and like Kim Kardashian. This is the world we live in. But he did that. And also he's doing a hospital transparency act where he's going to show the prices. When you go into the hospital and they say, we'll tell you when you go home. Imagine going into a restaurant. How much is this food costing? We'll tell you later. We'll tell you in 3 weeks. You'll see a bank statement. It's like, it's super corrupt. It's terrible what they do with our pharma industry and medicine industry. So he's making prices transparent. That's great. Even if you want universal health care, you have to admit, would you rather not know what you're paying, or would you rather know? He's lowering drug prices. He's trying. He's doing something. And on that note, now that I complimented him a million times, I want to say one thing that was very sneaky, and Republicans and conservatives and Trump supporters need to really understand and listen to me, because if not, we're going to get played and deceived, as a lot of the times we still do. Anytime Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump agree on something, you should be very concerned. It's not when they disagree, it's when they actually agree and when Nancy Pelosi actually claps. In the last 3 months, two things that they agreed on: $1 trillion spending bill, which sucked, and, the USCMA or whatever, the new NAFTA, which is better than NAFTA. I say look into that. I haven't had the chance to fully look into that, but if Nancy Pelosi likes it, major red flag. There's probably some terrible stuff in there. But you notice she clapped at a few parts, but the only part that I saw her clap at that I could verify right now, I'm sure she might have at 1 or 2 other parts, because the whole time she's got a little sourpuss face on. She's in the back looking like like a little 5-year-old girl that is like, like looking at her little white dress ladies like, I'm gonna dress in all white. It's all about me. Look at me. What can I do? What can I stop? They really are the do-nothing Democrats. I mean, it is they don't do anything. Literally, what did they do with the Iowa caucus? They can't even they're the do-nothing Democrats. He's great with the nicknames. Mini Mike, do-nothing Democrats, you gotta love it. But Nancy clapped for one thing that I saw, which was the opposition leader of democracy in Venezuela, Guaidó or whatever his name was. She's all thrilled about that, and I want to tell Trump supporters, because I know Trump supporters, you guys, I'm not saying you, some people here are independent, some people don't give a crap about Trump, some people probably hate me, whoever you are, I'm not trying to stereotype you, but you get what I'm saying. People listen to these organizations that all they say is socialism sucks, socialism sucks, socialism sucks. And to be honest, I'm not a fan of socialism. I think it's good on a community level. Maybe if you have a commune of people who work well. On a global level, when you have people like Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Mitt Romney there, yeah, it's not going to work. They're going to steal all your money, and you're not going to have anything. But anyway, people think that they're going to Venezuela because they love democracy and they hate socialism. Even Nancy Pelosi agrees with them, and I'll give you a hint. Nancy Pelosi doesn't give a crap about Venezuelans, and she probably doesn't care about stopping socialism in Venezuela. You think that's Nancy Pelosi's priority, why she's clapping? She's like, yeah, let's get rid of socialism in Venezuela. She doesn't give a crap. She'll bring socialism to the United States before she'll stop socialism in Venezuela. The point I'm trying to get to, the reason she clapped is because that opposition leader is basically a U.S. regime change puppet. They're trying to regime change Venezuela. We have major problems in our major cities here. I mean, you go to Los Angeles, it looks literally worse than bad parts of Africa that are considered third world countries. I'm not saying that to be mean or judgmental. I've spoken to people from Africa that look at the devastation and say, that's literally worse than some of the worst parts of Africa just in presentation. Yeah, we have poverty. Yeah, we have rundown stuff, but even we take care of our stuff that's not great. What you're doing to LA is devastating. They don't give a crap about, they want a regime change. So this is where I'm trying to say Republicans get screwed. They say socialism sucks, socialism sucks. I agree. I don't like socialism. Let's go to Venezuela, and you get what I'm saying? It should be a red flag to you guys that Nancy Pelosi's clapping. The guy is there. First of all, I want to say this. This is America, okay? America first, make America great again. These are Trump's slogans. We have Americans. Trump did a great job. He had a veteran. He had business owners. He had a little girl, presenting Rush Limbaugh. He presented Americans. Why is the opposition leader of Venezuela getting any play, any showtime at the United States State of the Union? No offense, but this is America. I don't want Israel's leader there. I don't want Saudi Arabia's leader there. I don't want freaking Bolivia's leader there. I don't want France's leader there. I don't want Boris Johnson there. I don't want freaking Marine Le Pen. I don't want, Nigel Farage here. And I certainly don't want Venezuela's opposition leader getting airtime. Let's let him stand up. No offense, but who cares? So the reason they care is they want to do a regime change in Venezuela, probably to install their puppet president. And this is kind of where they sneak us. They say left wing bad, so everything we say is right. But they always give you 7 truths. It's capitalism's good, in the right situation, yeah. But there's also phony corporate capitalism where Google and stuff, they're capitalists when it's convenient, and then all of a sudden they're socialist, deep state. Oh no, we're public utilities when it's convenient. So it's not even really working properly. But they give you truths socialism bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, drink liberal tears, the left wing's horrible, and you're yeah. And then they're let's start a war with Iran, let's regime change Venezuela, and let's destroy the Middle East more. And it's people are yeah, the terrorists are there, but they don't even get to the root of why things are going on, why things are, where the terrorists are getting their funding and money from. You got to ask yourself, for 15 years, we couldn't stop ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Go back to the origins of the Taliban. See where they got their founding and funding from. The United States has historically always worked with radical people in the Middle East to fight proxy wars. So it's no secret. So stuff like that. I see them do that, and I'm why is a Venezuelan leader here? And I just, that's the type of stuff that's cringy to me. It's anytime Nancy and Trump agrees, it's probably to start a war or take over a president. one of my favorite things Trump did on a complimentary note was he stopped trying to kill the leader of Syria. We went to Iraq. This is the crazy part about that too. I know people are going to get mad at me, but what's his name? Saddam Hussein would beef with Iran. So with the Saddam Hussein, Iran wasn't as strong. You kill Saddam Hussein, now Iran gets all emboldened for multiple reasons. They're like, why does Iran have all this power? Yeah, Obama partially, but also, they killed Saddam Hussein, who actually held him in check. You kill Gaddafi, it creates a vacuum. It's mostly to do with banking, petrodollar, oil, and Israeli relations and what they want to do as far as protect their country, and Saudi Arabia as well, their grand scheme in the Middle East. It has very little to do with American workers or our military and stuff. Although I would say if our petrodollar fails, then we'll probably all be poor. So maybe it is necessary. Point I'm trying to get to is, we do all this stuff, and then people are like always just so out of the loop. They're like, we got to get the terrorists. It's so easy to just go back and forth from Bush to Obama to terrorists to start a war. And then they go and invade countries that have nothing to do with anything. So for Venezuela, whether it's socialism there or not, what are we doing there? Is Cuba communist? Are we invading Cuba? Are we going to invade all of Africa because they have a bad economy and people are dying in certain areas? It's like, dude, I'm so tired of their BS. Like, oh yeah, we're going to help the Venezuelan people. And Nancy Pelosi's like, finally something I can agree on. I'm like, oh, if she agrees on it, I'm out. So that's just what I wanted to bring that up, because a lot of people, I feel like, get so swooped in it. And same with the Iran and other stuff. Like, that's when I get disappointed with the right wing. I'm like, man, they got everybody so caught up. They get left wing does this, the right wing does this, and then they're like, well, they did that wrong. But I was like, yeah, but that doesn't mean you're right specifically. So that's the point I want to get. Let me know if you guys got any comments. I've said enough. I'll answer like 10 or so. We'll talk for a little bit more, and then I'll leave. Thank you guys for joining. And I want to say, someone said global banks. Yeah, I mean, we're absolutely, you want to talk about a deep state and a globalist, the banks are definitely it, and the military industrial complex, as well as the sneaky globalists who are like, oh, UN, we need to take over your economy. There's so many global people playing, but sometimes it seems like, we don't point them all out. Stacy said, I'll read that comment. I believe the recognition of the true Venezuelan president he's not the true president. This is not our country. Like, for example, they said Bashar al-Assad was a bad guy in Syria and they tried to kill him. Meanwhile, Bashar al-Assad, you have to understand, was protecting millions of Christians. It was one of the safer places to go in the Middle East. We start attacking him, all of a sudden it becomes a terrorist region. So we don't have a good track record of deciding we can't even decide our own president. How are you going to say, sorry, Stacy, but how are you going to say he's the true president? You can't even get a true president in the United States. They're trying to oust your own president while they're cheating the whole democratic process. So who are we to tell Venezuela who their president is? Let them figure it out. Let them decide. Nancy Pelosi and Trump agree on it because it's good for America. It has nothing to do with Venezuela. They don't give a crap if it was a communist shithole where everybody was dying. They wouldn't care unless there was oil, money, a central bank to be in place, or some sort of benefit for the U.S. global regime. So it has very little to do with this socialism. It's not the only place in the world that's socialist, and it's definitely not. I mean, why don't we invade communist China, huh? That's further than socialist. It's because China's a massive economy, has a huge military, and they make us money just making cheap labor. You think they care about the Chinese workers who are making $1 an hour shoes, getting probably, working in sweatshops? No, they don't give a crap about China's socialism and communism, because there's money being made. So LeBron James takes his Nike shoes over to China, makes a killing, and then comes here and talks about black activism. So it's not about socialism or communism. For our country, yeah, that's a conversation to have, Bernie Sanders, Trump, etc. But for Venezuela, they have you convinced that you need to go fix other places before you even fix your own country. Same with the Middle East. You got people talking about Iran, this and that. They don't even know why Iran is an Islamic regime right now. Iran used to look like New York City in the 70s and 80s. Women used to wear bikinis all over the place. And, your friendly neighborhood, we're going to fix your country, got involved, and the Islamic regime took over, and now they're an Islamic regime. So a lot of this stuff, this is why the left gains an advantage sometimes, Because America did, in a lot of ways, really start a lot of stuff in Venezuela and in the Middle East. They're always meddling everywhere, and it's a bad look when your own infrastructure is crumbling. Your own cities look terrible. I mean, even elements of China does stuff better than the United States. They could build quickly. They can innovate quickly. We do nothing quickly. So I regardless if it's a communist or a socialist, I mean, I don't care, but also I don't think they care, because there's much more socialist places in the US, but they have more money and they have more power. If the communist leader of Venezuela was a United States puppet where Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump could, determine what he does and doesn't do, they would be totally fine with communism. They literally don't care. For here, I think Trump doesn't want socialism in America, but does Trump and Nancy Pelosi want to stop socialism in Venezuela? To me, that's a false talking point, but I don't know. Joshua said, "Be careful, you're speaking too much truth. You might be labeled a Russian bot." They've already called me a Russian bot 2 years ago, but I think they stopped doing that because Ukraine, you're a Ukrainian bot or something. I don't even know. I could care less what they say and they don't say. I'm going to post this stuff real quick. If you want to become a patron or Patreon or something, a free email list, I got all my links. I got Bitcoin and Litecoin too. If you want to throw some my way, you can. If not, don't do it. It's a trap. No, I'm just kidding. But shout out to my Bitcoiners and Litecoiners, right? We're booming a little bit. We're starting to make some plays back into the moon sphere. Someone said, "I met a man in the Philippines who made $297 a day managing a Donna Karen factory, working 12 hours, 6 days a week." We're not going to invade. We're not invading Philippines to free that guy. We're not invading, Thailand or China. Even the Hong Kong thing to me is a red flag, because I do think China is a little bit tyrannical, but there's just certain people. Anytime you see Mike Pompeo, Donald Trump, George Soros, Hillary Clinton, Chuck Schumer, and Nancy Pelosi all agree on something, you can almost guarantee it's a like, oh yeah, they all just simultaneously really care about the Hong Kong protesters. They really want them to be free. There's some sort of stake in there for the United States, their finances, their banks, their petrodollar, their geopolitical agenda. And there's a debate to be had whether it's good or bad for the country or good or bad for me and you. I'm not trying to say it's not, but this idea that they care about how free Hong Kong is laughable to me. And I think that's one that 95% of right-wingers think. They're like, man, we really just want to free Hong Kong from tyranny. I'm like, you think Mike Pompeo, George Soros, and Nancy Pelosi are concerned with freedom in Hong Kong? It's laughably not true, but it's okay. Someone said, "Let them worry." That's my thing. I love Trump's "Make America Great Again, America First." That includes not bringing the Venezuela guy, and I don't want to just talk about that part because this whole speech was great, but it's let's focus. Let's have a whole, instead of getting the Venezuela leader, who cares? Get someone from California who has to live on the streets, or someone who has to live around a bunch of heroin needles in San Francisco. To me, that's a more captivating American story than the opposition leader that Nancy Pelosi claps for. She doesn't clap for disabled unemployment, but she claps for the Venezuelan leader because she really cares about socialism. "You trying to be the youngest POTUS, brother?" says Sean. No, absolutely not. No. I would never want to be president. I mean, maybe when I'm 70 like Trump and I literally don't care anymore, but at this point, no. I would make a terrible president. They would absolutely just ruin my life and just be annoying, and it would be terrible. Nancy Pelosi says she would give up as Speaker of the House if impeachment failed. She might have said that, but the thing is, it doesn't matter what they say because they never tell the truth. You get what I'm saying? It's that's where I actually can slightly tolerate the progressive wing more, the farther left wing, is because they actually believe in things. I don't believe in them. Sometimes I think they're too stubborn and too closed-minded, but they actually have tangible things that they believe in. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, they don't actually believe anything they say, so it's hard to even have a conversation with them. So it's Yeah, I said that, but I also said this 5 years ago, and they don't believe anything they say. They're literally just like creeps. Michael said the president should watch you, Anomaly. I feel it. I mean, I'll tell you this: his campaign manager and I talk a lot of shit. So, and he hasn't unfollowed me. That's a good sign. I was like, by now I would think he unfollowed me, but no. I mean, the Hispanic Trump coalition, they reach out to me. They invited me on a phone call yesterday or the other day. But they got their eyes on Anomaly a little bit, but I think I'm a little scary, because I'm not. Everyone else just kind of just like, what can we do for you? And then I'm like, listen, you guys can't be out here lying. If you start lying after 9 o'clock, Uncle Anomaly's gonna have to make a bad video about you. No, I'm just kidding. I don't threaten with videos, but it's like when he did the $1 trillion spending bill and he's like, hey, we raised the smoking age to 21. I'm just like, awesome. That's really what our country needed was, 21-year-olds to not be able to buy a cigarette. Like, I don't think people should smoke it that young, but it's like, to me, wow, we funded gun control and, gave a bunch of money to the Space Force. I don't know. I was like, you get what I'm saying. Did you talk about Rush yet? I don't know anything about Rush Limbaugh. I missed that because I was driving, so I didn't see a lot of it. I just heard it on the radio. But I don't know much about Rush Limbaugh. He was before my time, so I don't have any stance on him, like positive, negative. Obviously, I want him to get better. I'm not like a crazy psycho, but I've never even heard him talk. Like, I'm so out of the loop, Rose said, we all have our eyes on you. All right, well, thank you, Rose. Someone said they see you shining. It's a cool feeling because I know a lot of these establishment Republican types, they're threatened by me because I'm hilarious. I rap. I would crush all these speeches, so they don't actually invite me to the speech. They just invite people who basically take what I'm doing and do a worse version of it. And then they see what I'm doing, but they're like, I'm like, guys, it's all good. So I feel like, they don't invite me places, but then everyone there's like, where's Anomaly? We want Anomaly. We're bored. All the kids are falling asleep in the back of the classroom because all the speakers are so boring. They're like, socialism sucks. Socialism sucks. Socialism sucks. We drink liberal tears. And everyone's like, dude, you got to relax, bro. Like, you're creeping me out. So, they need a little Uncle Anomaly in there to like calm the vibes out. There's some real creepy vibes. They're like, people in the back are like, yo, I didn't sign up for this. Someone said Mitt Romney should come out as a Democrat already. Here's the thing, though. People think it's just the Democrats. Like, it just so happened that Trump came in and shifted the Democratic Party, and he got enough power to shift them, and now there's a lot of phony Republicans. That's kind of the trap I want to get you in. Mitt Romney's not a Democrat. He's a Republican. But people think Republicans mean good. Trump is actually changing it, but a lot of people behind Trump, as soon as he's gone, Trump has power. So you have to understand there's different people. Romney chose the loser side. Romney chose the Pelosi side. But a lot of Trump supporters were never Trumpers. And I'm not saying they had a shift of heart. Like, there's a difference. I didn't even understand politics. I didn't understand taxes. I didn't care about politics at all. You have 20-year Republican, conservative analysts who've been conservatives their whole life who tried to get Hillary elected over Trump. It's one thing if you don't care about politics and you're an idiot like me, but it's another thing if you're a conservative analyst and a Republican stronghold lobbying against the president in 2016. It's a little weird trying to get him blacklisted on social media like Ben Shapiro did. And then all of a sudden, so a lot of these people behind him, they're giving you half-truths sometimes and just giving you enough so you like them. Like, I'll give you an example. I don't want to pick on the guy again, but Ben Shapiro doesn't like President Trump at all. He just has to pretend to because all his fan base likes President Trump. He tried to blacklist Trump in 2016 and call him alt-right. He said Trump's alt-right, Ron Paul is alt-right, Alex Jones is alt-right, Breitbart News is alt-right. He tried to get Trump labeled as alt-right and basically, blacklisted into far-right oblivion. And now he has to pretend like he likes the guy. Same with the other night he said on Twitter. He really creeps me out. He said, Donald Trump must have made a pact with the devil because everything he does works out and the Democrats keep screwing up. So in Ben's little head, that means that's the devil at work. To most, people, especially 90% of his base is like Christian conservatives, they believe it's God's work. They think God is leading Trump to victory. They think God has Trump's back. A lot of us feel like God has the world's back and we're winning because of God, But Ben Shapiro thinks Trump made a pact with the devil. I know he's joking, but it's a weird joke. That's how his head works. He's like, oh, in order for good things to happen, you have to make deals with the devil. I've never heard somebody say, oh, I made a deal with the devil, so everything's working out for me. I get what he's saying. Like, yeah, you make a deal with the devil to get the music contract or something, but you get what I'm saying? Like, everyone was like, dude, you mean God? He doesn't believe in God. He just has to not say it so everybody doesn't turn against him. He doesn't like Trump. He doesn't like God. He doesn't like Jesus Christ. But if he said all that all the time, people would be like, I don't. So he has to just say, look at the left, blame the left. Let's start a war with Iran for Israel. But if you accuse me of that, you're anti-Semitic. His whole shtick is just totally phony. So I'm not trying to pick on him, but there's a lot of people who are behind Trump because that's where the power is. They want to just wait till he leaves. You got to watch out. I know people running for office, Republican, Trump supporter, loyalists, who are like, anomaly. You don't know how bad it is behind closed doors. All the same bullshit as the left. All the same donors. All the same lies. Open border stuff. A lot of Republicans are behind it. They'll resettle refugees in your backyard in Tennessee. A lot of these people are not who they say they are. So that's all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to pick on people. You get what I'm saying? Certain people I really don't like, but people think because Trump is doing what they perceive as the right thing, that all these Republicans, like, oh, Romney must be a Democrat. No, Romney's a Republican. And trust me, there's a lot of Republicans like Romney. They're just not all peeking their heads out. He peeked his head out probably because he's probably, if you look into his family, he's probably not very different from the Biden family. You know what I'm saying? So he might be personally responsible for this one where he has no other choice but to do what he's doing. But people, that's what I'm trying to get the message of. People think just because the left is terrible,